AB in English Language Studies. So, when they hear that, they immediately think of, oh, magiging guro ka pala, like that. So, my question for you is AB English your first choice?
Actually, no. And if we're talking about pressure and career choices, it was actually some sort of my saving grace because I am into writing. And during junior high school, I was into journalism and all those stuff. And I was actually pressured to pursue a career in medicine. And for some
Mm-hmm.
reason, like for some personal reason, I wasn't able to. So I applied for AB language. I got accepted and now I am doing what I want.
Yeah, I see. Pero it's really in a way frustrating to choose what career you actually want to pursue because there are different factors like privilege or availability of courses. Like there are things we cannot achieve. Like example, I really wanted to be an astronomer, but
Mm.
unfortunately it's very expensive and we don't have that here. But yeah, AB English is okay. Charot. I'm
In a
not
way, tapos
I'm not
it
gonna
actually plays a part then when it comes to pressure.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing something you love, the pressure just doubles and doubles and doubles because you're not that motivated. You know, motivation
Yeah.
plays an important part in the learning process.
Yes, especially now that there's always this thing that when you step on the second semester of a school year, your motivation just goes down. So if we have that plus the loss of motivation of a course that you don't want just doubles, like as you said. So yeah, it gets frustrating. They say a safe space can be a person or a place, but it can also be a podcast. Hi, this is the voice of Marilyn.
This is Felix. We are your hosts, and you are listening to Youth Matters podcast.
Yes, welcome everyone. So, Felix, jumping on back to the topic, I want to ask you another question. Have you
Yes.
also felt pressured when it comes to your academic performance?
Actually, yes, I can really it scares me on how quick I can say na yes. I feel pressured. A part of it then is because I am a first year student. We are a
Yes.
first year students, and then we are in the middle of a pandemic. We have a new environment, and along it is a new
Mm,
learning approach where everything is done virtually. So
yeah.
that really puts pressure on students then.
Yeah. Okay, follow up. Very quick lang because I'm curious. Where does that pressure come from? Like everybody have it different. Some comes from the family, from friends, from yourself, or maybe from school. But where does yours come from?
I think mine is somehow a collaboration of all. Because in a way,
Oh, okay.
it's like I am also practicing self sabotage because I am also trying to pressure myself that I should be able to achieve this, I should be able to achieve that. And along that, there are expectations from my family that they're expecting something great from you, tapos you're just afraid to fail their expectations. And then the pressure also comes from the society kasi, di ba, we have a
Mm,
lot of
yeah.
social issues. So it really gets kind of stressed when they all start brewing into one big spider stew. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Okay, so speaking of academic pressure, that is the main topic of our podcast for episode 1. So together with us is Ronald Sarmiento II, but we also call him Manong Riley. He comes from the municipality of Dingle. He is a third-year college student in West Visayas State University, taking up a degree in Bachelor of Arts in English Language Studies. He is our senior. So yes, he is one of the proud co-founders of Artist Guild, a university-based organization that aims to showcase artworks and talents, socialize, and support aspiring artists. He is also an active student leader, taking the role of student counselor. So yes, Manong Riley, welcome to the first episode of our podcast. Say hello to our viewers.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for that, Marilyn
Yes.
and
Yes.
Hello, Nang
Felix.
Riley. It's really an honor to
Hello.
have you here pa.
Yes, and I'm really grateful and honored as well.
How are you today, Manong Riley? Are you feeling
So,
good?
Yeah, actually, I feel bad because I entered late, but yeah, still I am super grateful and I'm happy. Nevertheless, and yes,
Yes.
I hope that this podcast will be a success.
Yes, we're also
Yes.
happy to have you here.
Yes, I would also like to add, kanina pala, Manang Riley, Felix mentioned that he is a fan of yours
Oh
daw.
yeah,
Ano,
there's
Felix, you tell
yeah.
you
I
tell him.
I forgot that I am actually a fan because I actually live at Park Regency, so I'm here at Pavia. And every time I go to the mall, like there's an art exhibit there, and then I always see your work. It's actually exhibited there. I think
Yeah.
there's two of your works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah. There are two in exhibit. Actually, it's been there for quite a long time, I think, and I wasn't able to pull them out. My paintings there are entitled "Sunflowers Can Be Sad Too." The
yeah,
one with
Mhm.
the guy and the sunflower, and I think the other one is "Bush of Consciousness" with an
hmm,
Asian girl with a lot of flowers in
yes,
her
I
head.
remember.
Yeah. So thank you for
Yeah,
visiting.
so I just wanted to get that out first because
Yeah, and we also want to to get you recognized because dapat we want your exposure to baka kasi maano ka, ma-discover, charot.
Thank
is this
you,
our way
guys.
of giving back free promotion? Ganon. We're trying to
Yeah, in a
plug.
way, I guess.
Really
Pero
appreciate
here,
that.
let me ask you the first question, Manong. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Ah,
Sure.
walang I think so. Dapat yes. Charot. Okay,
I'm
so here
always
is the
uncertain. Sure.
yeah. Okay, here is the first question. What was your hardest academic experience?
The hardest, by far, just recently actually, it started during my term as a counselor in the University Student Council, especially during the University Days process and
Mm-hmm.
preparation, because I get to be the chair of the University Days. And yes, it's actually a challenge, quite a challenge, and a heavy one. I really had a hard time managing that. Also, lagay mo pa yung yung responsibility ko as a founder of a new founded
Mm.
organization, our Society University Artist Guild. So yeah, madami talaga siyang responsibilities, and at the same time need to still be active in your academics. So yeah, that is by far the hardest academic experience, balancing my tasks and responsibilities. But I got the hang of that because of some self realizations and truly reflect on the things na I've set on myself beforehand, before pa ako magsalang as a counselor.
And also congratulations
Mm.
because the University Week was a very successful event on your part
Right.
Yes, indeed.
as the organizer of the event. It was very successful. So we want to say congratulations din, ano?
Yes. Virtual
Thank you
clap.
guys. Yeah, it is
Okay.
actually a challenge kasi double challenge siya kasi it's the first ever online university days. Especially now that we're in pandemic. So it's really a different um, kind of setup.
Mm-hmm.
And yung process, kumbaga, is, when it comes to like writing a letter, for example, so it
Mhm.
actually takes a lot of time for you mag-wake up for them to email you back. And the rest of the tasks actually
So
is
we actually want to get into that. University Week was done virtually. And
mm,
how different was it nung ginagawa po siya natin in a face-to-face? What are the difference po of the event? Like, gano'n siya ka-exciting ba? Or mas masaya ba siya for
Pressuring.
our university? How does it feel, ganon?
Mm-mm.
yeah, actually, it's really different. Especially because I experienced the face-to-face university days. No? So I noticed that it's really different talaga siya, and it's more fun talaga if face-to-face yung setup. At the same time, it's not easy talaga.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, hindi lang sa amin na nag-organize, but our participants as well because they need to find a lot of resources. and especially those who belong to places wherein in the internet connection is not that good.
Mhm.
So they travel to places and to shoot their performances. And yeah, actually in this the face-to-face setup, I was able to participate then in one of the contests during the face-to-face youth days. And
What
yeah,
was
it's just
this po?
yeah.
We wa we want to know, ano po yung saan ka po nag-participate during face-to-face?
It was the on-the-spot poster making.
Oh, that's great. And considering
And
that
I
you're an
bagged
artist.
second place lang actually because I'm not that good sa medium po kasi acrylic yung medium and I don't
Oh,
really,
pero I
you
think
know, yeah.
you still did great considering that it's second
Yes.
place. It was
Mm.
in the entire university comparing to us in Maryland. I think at best we can
Yeah.
only draw stick figures.
Pero 'di ba, Manong, you were featured in a ano ba 'yun, news basta news something.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you
Radio
were
Bandera in the
yeah, okay, yes, I saw that video and you were featured um
uh,
about your art, 'di ba? So I
mm,
actually want to ask, 'di ba, you mentioned that you have to juggle responsibilities of
yes.
being a counselor, tapos ACADS, and being the founder of our artist guild. So I want to ask, what is that, 'di ba, you have to give something or to give up something to
Mm,
actually focus on the other things that matter to you too. So what is that? What is
yeah.
that something that you have to give up or somehow put on
Okay.
pause?
Okay. Yes. Actually, I needed to give up food on my plate kasi there's a lot
Mm.
that is going on. So actually, I gave up for a while yung pag-drawing talaga. Kasi it would actually take me a lot of time then, and actually you need in order for me to draw successfully or to create an artwork that is beautiful, I need to focus on it and invest really a lot of time. So in my case, kasi madami akong ginajuggle, I need to
Yeah.
give them and yeah, focus on what's more important for me.
So
But the spirit. I mean, the my love for the arts is still there. But
Yeah.
ibang ano lang, ibang way lang of enhancing the artistic skill. It's not just about me kasi I also want to help other people, especially our aspiring artists to be, uh, you know, to develop that skills that I learned as well in the past.
Yes.
so even if you're not really drawing or being the artist that you once were, you were
Mm.
still
Yeah.
deep in. So I would like to share lang din kasi di ba Taylor Swift got her doctorate degree
Yes.
at New York University. I am not a Swiftie, but Marilyn is, and I just wanted to
Yes.
somewhere along her speech, she did mention that writing was really the guiding, like it was the compass of her life, and in everything
Mm.
she do, writing was an extension of everything you do. So is this? I think this
Mm.
is the same rin po with you. So being an artist, being a student leader, I think the
Mhm.
creativity, the passion of being an
Yes.
artist
Yes.
is it still po the driving force in your leading? I mean, with all the things that you do, especially in handling events or trying to come up with ideas for it. Can you say that it's somehow the same process? That it is an extension.
Of oneself. Yeah, that's actually true, no? And as I don't view myself as an artist lang. I am also a youth leader and a
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
student leader as well. So I actually used that skill of mine in leadership and in arts to also reach out to those aspiring artists like me in the past, no?
Mm.
So I just don't want to like improve myself, but I would also like to help others improve themselves.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that is I always bring that with me wherever I go, no, in leadership trainings, in like advocacy summit, international, locally. I always tell everyone that that is like my advocacy for
Yes.
lifetime, I would say.
And that's on being an empowered youth. Tama ba, Marilyn?
Yes, indeed. And I would also like to add, that, di ba, na-mention mo that even though you somehow gave up your time for art, your role as a founder of our guild is still, stemming, your passion for that is still stemming from art. Like, even though you gave up your time for art, you did it so you could give your time for us, sa mga aspiring artists. You basically, set aside your priorities so you could help ours. Like, parang ganon na effect.
Yes, parang ganon din siya.
Like, yeah, you let go of your passion so we could find ours. Like, parang ganon in a way. And that's really
Inspiring.
yes, inspiring and very
Warming.
heartwarming din. Yes, because we as artists have our mental blocks too, or like, yeah, artist block, we call that. So it's really hard to get out of that. But having Artist Guild as an outlet, as our outlet, is really saving. It's really saving. So yes, thank you for founding that organization, and I really benefited from that.
It's nice to hear. Actually, that's really one of my main purpose. Actually, I was able to gather aspiring and experienced artists actually in the university, and just to create a like community for them, like for us to like know each other, build relationships with each other, and at the same time improve each other. So yeah, that's quite a fulfilling actually.
Yes,
And
indeed.
really happy.
Like, di ba, like some of us here, it is kind of given na we are always pressured. So what about you? Where is your pressure coming from? Yeah.
The pressure actually, it just comes from myself. Yeah, we all have that, no, internal
Yes.
pressure. Actually, mas pressuring pa nga yung goals, kumbaga, na sinaset ko sa self ko, than that of the expectations of others
Yes.
from me. So yeah, it's always been that, and I'm quite goal digger talaga and a perfectionist
Yes.
kind of person actually. So before I make or dive into task, I would always list the target goals, my target goal, and one by one, like work on them, and yeah, that would make me fulfilled and at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So in a
Yeah.
way,
I think
pressuring yourself isn't really a bad thing. Pero when it goes out of hand kasi, it starts affecting you
yes.
mentally din, tama. And I am also reminded then of this inspirational message that our teacher once gave us. He said na, what are your goals? Parang, how many percent are you sure na parang you can achieve that? So like, he said, so we all said na 100% that we can achieve that. So then he said, I think when you set a goal, you should set it too high. Tapos para naman na when you hit it. And you may, for example, you put it at 100%. So if you will not be able to achieve it, you're like on 70% and everything. But if you set it high naman, so let's say 150%, so you were able to achieve then the 100%, diba? So that was just parang that was something inspirational din na nakuha namin sa kanya.
Yes.
I actually agree with that. Yeah.
Diba? Okay, so do you have any question pa, Marilyn?
I think I should ask one more thing because ako na, cloud chaser, charot. Hindi naman cloud chaser, pero like, I actually wanted to build my credentials. Like, I was really inspired by our seniors na, wow, ang dami nilang achievements. So, I want to I aspire to be like them. So, dahil,
and belonging to the same course,
parang,
you feel pressured then?
Not really, pero like, parang self-inflicted injury nga na ang dami kong organizations na na-join to the point where I actually cannot handle it anymore. I mean, ma-handle naman, pero napapabayaan ko na yung aking ACAD. So, yeah, it's actually really concerning. So, Manong Riley, my question is, how do you balance being a student? Oy, ba't ka tumatawa?
No.
May nakakatawa ba? Charot. Char lang. Char lang. Hindi tayo mandadog show for today's video. But anyway, the question is, how do you balance being a student, a leader, and an artist? Kasi ako struggling talaga.
So balancing our tasks is important. if you have a lot of responsibilities, not just in your academics. Ako, student leader at the same time, founder of a new founder organization in an
And on
artist.
top of that, you're still
So
a student then.
yeah, that's the main goal actually. So I think that aside from setting up our goals or putting goals, we should also focus on our systems, kumbaga. So what I always do, and actually mantra ko na to, is to plan ahead before you dive into that task. For example, I'll create specific schedules, also to-do list, and set an alarms para hindi ko makalimutan yung schedule ko. So yeah,
Yeah.
I always have a journal with me or like a small notebook. Actually, I bought that before the start of my term as a UFC counselor, and that made me like organize my task and always look back to baka may na-miss akong task na hindi ko pa
Yeah.
natapos. So it's really important to do that, I think. And when I feel unmotivated, especially when doing like important tasks, I took this advice from I don't know if you heard of him. It's Mark Manson, the author of the art of not
Of not
giving up.
giving.
Giving yeah, okay, yes.
Of not giving enough.
So yeah, when I feel unmotivated, I just start on doing something. Like start lang talaga na gumawa ng or
Yes.
mag-start ka na gumawa ng task mo because I believe then yung motivation will go along na lang then if you start on doing that.
Yes.
So I think that's really an effective din tool or like effective din siya kumbaga in a way. So like also of course we feel drained at the end of the day and tired. Let us not forget to take a rest because that is really important.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah, and
Kasi,
after we'll have a fresh eyes and start. And then also, what I usually do is to like reward myself after every accomplishment. Like pagkatapos ng event, I want to do something to pamper myself and to like really just reward myself. Kahit
Yeah.
manood lang
I
ng
wish we can say the same kasi most times it's like we're doing nothing but we reward ourselves. Parang ganon.
Yeah.
Procrastination
Yeah.
gets us kasi in a way. And it's also
Yeah.
this advice is actually really helpful for our youth kasi personally sa ano din around the people around me it's really concerning how the amount of people around me are
Yes.
experiencing burnouts. Like marami akong kakilala na they're not really failing naman pero they're experiencing like they're
Yeah.
very tired, they're unmotivated.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that is really important. From time to time, that's what said by James Clear. Actually, that's his actually my like favorite author. He's a writer of self-help books. No, so that's what I got from him. As to like reward yourself after every accomplishment, and for you to really
Yes.
be motivated on doing a new set of tasks. And I also think that for us to balance our responsibilities, we should develop habits,
Mhm.
even start with the smallest habits. No, it will just develop then through time, and
Yes.
also develop hobbies as well that are helpful. So actually, what I do, we all have different hobbies, no? Pero mine that I find helpful talaga is to read books, especially self-help
Yes.
books, no? If I have time after class, for example, or after I eat, or like before I go into my task, I would take a minute or like take a few minutes to read or to scan my favorite self-help books. So I would also like to share that book actually that kind of like contributed to my growth as a person as well is The Atomic Habits by James Clear. It is an
You
international
always need
bestseller,
it.
so I
Mm.
really recommend that to you guys. So yeah, that's And that's how I balance my tasks. And yeah, you should really be organized talaga sa lahat.
Mm.
And
And this
uh,
is actually really
Yes.
helpful because a lot of students are experiencing burnouts. Yes, I already said that. And some of them want to know what to do. Tapos, so as suggested by Nong Riley, it's really good na you get into reading books. Kasi if you can't seek
Yes.
professional help, or it's still important to seek professional help, especially if you're
mm,
experiencing it severely. Pero if you just need parang an inspiration, a dose of inspiration, reading can really help you. In my case naman,
Yeah.
it's like the only book na I read that tackled or talked about the self is The Art of War. So instead of helping me,
The Art of War. Yeah.
yeah,
parang I
that's
just
I
got
love that book
motivated to
too.
become more competitive. Parang, is this really helpful? Pero kidding aside, I was actually able to read also a book by Paulo Coelho, the Archer, and I think it was also very inspirational, and it talked a lot about how to navigate life in a way. Marilyn, do you have books that you think can help you as well, or have you read any
Yeah.
books?
Yeah, I've read books, but they're not self-help. They're more on fictional because my coping mechanism basically is trying to transport myself in a different world through fictional books. So yes, I think I don't really. It's kind of different from yours, which you somehow try to
Explore.
uh try to you also try to ground yourself by reading
Mhm.
self-help books that actually would hit you with reality.
Mm,
Pero in my case, I try to stay away from reality, and I don't know if that's healthy, pero it's somehow helping me. Pero
mm,
I would also like to recognize the advice given by Nong Riley that it's very holistic, because not only did he give advice on how to balance your academic life, but he also gave um kumbaga validation that you should also reward yourself even though wala ka namang may ginawa na much. Wait, did I say that right? Pero like, I'm sorry, I'm really bad in Tagalog. I'm really sorry. But yeah, even though you didn't do much, you're still gonna reward yourself for getting up or for taking care of yourself.
Yes. Because getting through a day is already a task na din, di ba? At this point, we have reached another segment of our podcast. What do you think? We will be reading queries from the youth community through the Google form that was distributed to the campus and to other people then, and wherein people anonymously or under a pseudonym typed in their confessions or the concerns that they want to ask our guest speaker. So first we have Warrior, whose name was Warrior, asking, what should I prioritize? Practicality or passion? So what do you have to say this about? What do you have to say about this po, Nong Riley?
okay, it's actually a bit hard. It's practicality over passion, right? But I always put in mind to why not like put both.
Mhm.
But then baka sa kanya iba yung kind of like situation. So based on my experience, no, I was able to be in that situation then before I stepped into college because I was able to choose between my like the course that I really want that is aligned to my passion versus the course that I think I need
Mhm.
to have. So that is between AB English actually and architecture. Because as
Yes.
an artist, I
Mm.
think that I actually love architecture because I've joined various um, workshops in related to architecture. But then I was able to went into the AV English or the language or linguistic side, and yeah, I chose actually practicality. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's not just pure practicality because I also love language, to learn language and literature. Yes, and that's really kind of like my breakthrough then. And
Mm.
yes, I am happy with that decision because yes, I think that I have actually learned a lot from this course. and there are the skill there. I have developed skills that I think I need in the workplace.
Wow. So we're happy for you too.
I actually have a friend who chose his passion. Like there are courses that don't pay much, you know. That's why we sometimes choose. I mean, the adults actually want you to choose something that is more practical. Like, for example, if you want to choose arts, they would rather want you to choose nursing or architecture or doctor or something like that, because it doesn't pay much. It will not pay the bills or something like that. But my friend shared that it doesn't matter it if it's not gonna pay me too well or gonna take me somewhere far, but as long as I'm doing something I love, that's what matters. Ganyan yung sinabi niya. So yes, it's really fine if you choose practicality or passion, as long as you know how to survive through everything. That's what matters.
In a way, this is
So yeah.
actually also a privilege check then, diba? Because some people have their own safety nets. So it really somehow depends on how capable you are on doing things. I am actually reminded then, kasi we don't need to undervalue the arts then, diba? And I am reminded of this quote from the Dead Poet Society. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Sige, go.
So they said na no matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world. We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race. And the human race is filled with passion. And medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. So that was actually one of the statements that really justified why I took this course. So
yes,
so
I
we
could
can
actually vouch for the same idea.
Mhm.
Like it's somehow I chose course. I mean, I chose practicality, but also chose passion with AB English language. So yes, it's still a win-win situation. I think all of us here, I mean the three of us here could agree.
Yeah, it's a great decision actually to choose AB English language.
Nag-plug, charot. Pero yes, thank you, Warrior, for that query. So we shall proceed to another entry. This is from Anonymous.
Yes, and before
They
that,
said,
we should give a trigger warning for the viewers that we are reading. So warning, feelings may arise and may contain sensitive content. So Marilyn, please proceed.
yes, okay, you've been warned. So please, if you are sensitive, you may skip this part. But anyway, this is from Anonymous, and they said, dapat may honors ka, dapat cum laude ka, dapat taas grades mo. This is what all my relatives say to me, just because my family has a lot of achievers and that family wants me to become one of those. Ever since I was young, I was always bullied for being myself, and I was bullied because of my appearance. Ever since I was young, I would always get low grades just because of bullying. My family then would tell me not to mind them and to be strong. And I just felt like they don't understand what I'm going through. They always want me to excel, but because they want me to become like my relatives, this didn't happen only from kinder but also until grade 12. Sometimes the comments I receive from my relatives are like, wala kagidya klase tawo, nga sa arts kaga excel, pero sa academics mo wala. I would then become really depressed about it and resort to mutilate myself. So then comes first year. I faced a lot of challenges like the struggle with my studies. But things have gone well. I have gotten good grades, but there is one certain grade which is a 2.75 from one of my subjects. Upon seeing this grade, I then cried because I struggled so much in maintaining my grades and also because I didn't meet my family's expectation. Sorry if wala ko ma-meet ang expectations nyo para lang maging cum laude. But I am trying to become a successful person in the future. But I have learned that grades and honors are not measures of success because we all have different talents and abilities.
We just want to say that Anonymous, we see you. What do you think about this, no, Riley?
I actually feel sad about it, but at the same
Yes.
time, we must always see hope on things, and everything happens for a reason. Sabi nga nila. So I think that there are other opportunities na dadating din sa iyo. It's not just about being cum laude. You can still excel on a lot of fields, especially the ones that you're really passionate about, the arts, because you'll never go wrong in choosing arts. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, it's still the goals that the other people have set upon you, and I think that it's still up to you at the end of the day because they don't decide for what is best for you. You still have the overall decision para din sa actually sa life mo and your goals really. So actually, it's the same situation that also happened to my friend. To be my friend, no, the same situation happened to my friend, and I just told her that there are still a lot of things that
Or yet to discover.
yeah, you get to discover, and it doesn't stop there. Kahit alam mo na hindi ka magiging cum laude, or like there's still other things that you still can give to your parents to make them proud as well. And yeah, I
So
think
basically, we are trying to say there is more to life than this.
yeah,
So don't
yeah,
lose
true.
hope.
Yes. I get where the frustration is coming from. I mean, I didn't experience the same thing, but I also know friends. When you are an achiever, or like you're a person who has been, cured with praise, or have been living up to expectations, when you somehow see
Lose
a
perspective.
grade that is,
Diba?
yeah. I mean, it's not, even if you receive grades that are not as bad, you still feel disappointed in yourself because you've been used to achieving so much, and then you feel like you failed just because you achieved like 2.75, sabi niya. So yes, we actually conducted a study about that, and we have found that it is also, I mean, being smart or being academically inclined also affects your overall
Perception.
mental health, yes, perception. So it really gets you down even if you get a not so bad grades. So yes, I feel for you, like even though, you're doing well, as long as you're doing well and you're looking out for yourself, that's really fine.
Yes,
We hear you.
you matter, Anonymous. So we have another query from Jure. I don't know how to really pronounce this, but I'm just gonna assume I am correct. So they said, "Hi. So I'm a college student. I've always been the lazy student, but yes, excellent grades in my elementary and high school years. You see, I'm lazy, but I also don't want to get low grades. I procrastinate a lot, and this year I'm not too confident to get an acceptable grade. I understand it's college and it's hard, but personally, I don't want to disappoint my parents because they're the best at finding ways to provide me what I need, and they never made me feel pressured over my grades. The academic pressure that I am feeling right is not from someone else, but from myself. Does it make sense to you?" Yes, Jure, you make sense, and we hear you. They continued with, "I hope so. Ha 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 ha. Especially this time is a new academic approach in which I know isn't really effective to me since I easily get distracted with my environment. What's the best approach I can do in this situation? What am I supposed to do? Any tips for lazy students to not procrastinate?" This is
I
very
need this
relatable.
advice.
I also need this advice. So, now, Riley, what do you have to say about this?
I can relate with this.
Hala. So, sino
Direct.
yung magbibigay ng advice? Charot.
Yeah, but that's what I've said earlier. No? Personally din sa akin, yung pressure talaga nanggagaling din sa akin.
Mhm.
So it weighs more than the pressure that you are receiving from other people. So what I would advise to her is actually that's actually good na you are setting like pressure for yourself. Pero I encourage you to um focus on the goals that you've set in and organize your systems, because I have noticed that you are like having trouble, especially I think it's about procrastinating,
Mm-hmm.
I heard it earlier. So yeah, actually that's normal for most of us. And my tip would be to, like, if ever you're distracted with social media or other like for example other influences, you have I think that you should create a schedule for like studying. Like you have to set a target time for studying and time also for social media. So what I usually do is like set a timer wherein I will just study all in. I'll put all my focus in studying, and then if that timer would stop, I would take a break or maybe scroll on my Facebook newsfeed, and
Mm-hmm.
then if that alarm would occur again, then I should go back to studying. So yeah, it's about time management as well and being like practical. And just schedule a lot and set an alarm for everything if you are having trouble talaga to like manage your time. And also, yes, pressure. I see it as something good para sa akin. If that pressure comes from within, means that just means that you are like really
Motivated and geared
yeah,
towards a
yeah,
goal.
yeah, yeah. You're
Mm.
really motivated to really pursue your goals. So just continue doing that, but just make sure that it's a good pressure and still prioritize your wellness above all because it's really important.
There's this tweet
Yes.
about from Lacan, and it was also a suggestion then on how to manage procrastination. They said to follow the 20-20-20 rule, which is 20 like real work, 20 look somewhere far away to avoid back pain, and then disappear 20 years in the forest. So that was, that,
I
that
love the last part. I want to do the
so
last part right
so
now.
that was a joke. So we don't want you to do that, Jure. We don't want you to disappear for 20 years in the forest. So if you're listening, what Manuel is really just trying to say is try to plan ahead. Ganon. So
Mm.
Marilyn,
Yes. Okay. So shall we proceed to another entry?
yes, please.
Okay. This entry is from Milana, and they said, I despise the idea of how education has become a driving force of capitalism, establishing a morbid classification of students. Efforts and hard work were enamored by society, thinking it would uplift the struggle they are in. I might say I am one of those people, one who has been constantly walking on a tightrope between failure and success, fearing to take a single step as one wrong step implies losing everything: my motivation, my dreams, and my family's hope. Family's hope, I'm sorry. I always wanted to do a lot of things in life, spreading my wings and testing how far can I go. I mean, aren't we all? To be caught in the satisfaction and in the sense of meaning we can obtain in achieving something is one of the things that keep us going. But what if the best is not the best yourself has expected? I always could have done more. I get it. Some would say, take your downfalls as a positive note, or life is about taking risks. Yet we might also consider that it's easy to say for people who have everything, right? Not for me, who makes sure everything must be calculated. It's sad to limit yourself just because the circumstances you are in tells you so. So I settled for less, in mediocrity. And I tell you, it sucks. It sucks to be in the middle, not the greatest, not the worst, just there in between. Nothing to prove, and everything depicts inadequacy. It sucks to still try and find a light when it almost went out and there's nothing you can do about it. That's
Yeah.
really, that tugged my heartstrings.
Mhm.
She gave us, or he gave us, some self realizations as well.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Pero
So
I think
it's
this was in a way a privilege check din, ano, kasi ang what was the name again? It was Milena.
Milena.
So they
Yeah.
said na some would say take your downfalls, yet we might also consider that it's easy to say for people who have everything, right? Diba? So that was some sort
Mm.
of privilege check then.
Yes. And when Milena said one who has been constantly walking on a tightrope between failure and success, fearing to take a step as one wrong step may imply losing everything, I remembered, I mean, not remembered, but like it kind of clicked to me that they may be a scholar student like from a private scholar, that if ever they make a bad grade, or yes, make a bad grade, they would probably lose their scholarship. So yes, that's probably it. But I don't know why I'm trying to theorize this, but yes, it's really a matter of privilege to between us who has the means to educate ourselves, to enroll ourselves in a good university, while some can't. Some even resort to not going to school anymore just because they don't actually have the means to do that. And Milena also said that um, they are somewhat burned out. Like when they said it sucks to still try and find the light when it already went out and there's nothing you can do about it. It reminded me of the song by Taylor Swift, Nothing New. Like it's really about remembering, or
This is more
made
like
into
Harry
real.
Styles, actually. And there's
No,
nothing
it's
new
Taylor
about
Swift.
it. So,
No,
thank you very much to our guest speaker, Marilyn Justiniani.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm so sorry. I was caught up kasi I remember Taylor Swift kasi, so I really had to put that out. But anyway, let me make it short. Let me make it short lang. It reminded me of the song Nothing New, because it somehow, I mean, the speaker of the song comes into a point of realization where they're not that special. They were just, they just overestimated themselves in a way, but they're just some average person in society. That's what they basically feel. I think lang.
Mhm.
Pero yeah, going back to
Nong
putting back
Riley, what?
the
Baka Nong
spotlight
Riley
to
has
Nong
something to say
Riley.
naman to Milena.
Yes,
I actually
yes.
love your take on that, Marilyn and Felix. No, but for me, I think, and that's what I have noticed, is that the one who gave, who Milena, okay, Milena. Milena is afraid of failure and taking risks. No, so I actually would want to tell you that it requires really a lot of patience and failures in order for you to achieve something great. I would always remind myself that as well. Kay really like breakthrough moments sometimes or are often the results of like many previous actions which build up the potential required to unleash a major change. So yeah, they are all essential for us to grow as a person and to really be a person who is full of wisdom then. And I just want to share this quote from an NBA player
Yes.
actually. As San Antonio Spurs, I read this in one of the self-help books that I'm reading. So it says that when nothing seems to help, I go and look at a stone cutter hammering away at his rock, perhaps 100 times without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet at the 101st blow, it will split in two. And I know it was not that last blow that did it, but all that had gone before. So yeah, it
Wow,
really
that is.
requires a lot of actions and experiences. It doesn't just happen. It's instantly or overnight. One has to work hard for it. And with what you said with regards to having like the privilege, I think that even those who are even those the successful ones or the rich ones, they have also a set of problems. No, hindi naman tayo na, for example, who are not that privileged enough. But we must also realize that we all have a different set of problems, and I think that yeah, you just have to like focus on the bright side and really learn from the lessons that you will gain from your experience. So I think that is all with your case. And yeah, I agree with what you said, Mary Panina. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's not really just all about parang socialism then, diba? So it's also about
Mm-mm.
one's motivation and one's drive. So we have another query from red heart emoji. That was the code name. So right now, I'm just feeling tired of everything. Everything exhausts me now. Even my hobbies that once made me smile, my friends who made me laugh, and my studies which made me go for my dreams. Now that I had experienced growing up, my dream seems far out of my reach, and everything seems to be a burden. I'm confused on what to take or what to do. I don't even know if my dream really is my dream. It just seems to be another sparkly and sugar-coated goal. I don't even know if I want to continue this. I want to rest even for a day without worrying myself or anything that will happen.
Yeah, I really think that you should do that, to rest for a day and take your time to reflect on things so that you will realize a lot of things na hindi mo pa na-discover. So, yeah, it's really important to take your time for yourself and stop worrying about your problems, especially in terms of the academics. So, yeah, that would really help. And also, I encourage you to read self-help books because that would really help you, I think, and because that helped me as well. So I don't know about you guys, and what is your take on this?
Well, we just want to remind Red Heart emoji that it's fine to take a break. It's really fine to take a break,
Yes.
but do not stop dreaming. Just keep on dreaming.
Yes, but I could actually relate to this, but because I remember during the first sem, I was really motivated because I told myself that this is gonna be a fresh start. I could actually change my identity or whatever, turn my whole life around. But when
A
I
main
got
character moment.
yes, basically
That's
main
correct.
character moment. Yes. Or like when I started to shift to the second semester, I lost all means of motivation. And I could feel the frustration coming from red heart emoji here because I remember looking back when I try to remember my hobbies, my old hobbies like in reading, in writing or anything, and I just feel sad that I let go of those. Like the frustration you feel that you're not who you used to be, or you're not as passionate as you are before, just gets you down and makes you just wanna cry sometimes because it's like losing a portion of yourself, but you don't know how to get that back. You don't know where to start again or where to go back. So yeah, if you're really not alone. I'm here. I'm still frustrated. So yes, it's okay. It's
You're
okay
not
to
alone.
rest
We
too.
see you here, po. So that's all
Yes.
for the queries that we are going to read. At this point, we would like to thank Mr. Riley Sarmiento for gracing us with your presence. Thank you very much,
Uh,
po, for being our
you're
guest.
welcome. Thank you, then. It's an honor as well.
Yes, we also would like to thank you for giving us your time and for sharing your thoughts and for listening and for making us feel that we matter as we are, as we should, or as we whatever. My gosh. Okay. Or
So
yes.
thank you very much, po.
Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, we all matter, and our problems, we should open up about our problems more to other people so that they can also help us. If you're having trouble finding it on our own, still we have other people or friends to help us.
Yes.
So,
Okay. Thank
so
you.
yeah. So once again, this is Felix.
And this is Marilyn. This has been Youth Matters Podcast. Catch us in another episode.
Where we'll be talking about a different topic, but still, all in the name of youth empowerment. So for our ending, I think we would like to hear from Nong Ronald. Say, Nong Riley, are you still there? Can we ask you to say for the ending for us na, in case nobody told you today, you matter.
Sure.
So, can we hear that po? Nong Riley?
Okay. In case. I'm sorry. What is it again?
In case nobody told you today, you matter.
Okay. So in case nobody told you today, you matter.
Wow, thank you very much.
Yay! Nakilig ako doon. Sa amo lang sa